So in this video, we're going to go over how you can grow your portfolio and how you can go from one Airbnb to 5 within 6 months without any burnout. So the unit 1 is exciting. Unit 2 is where more operators quietly burn out, okay? So unit 1 is manageable. It's one property, one cleaning team, one contract, only like one guest per day that you could possibly have to communicate with. And it's very easy to do all this manually, and like it doesn't feel much hard work, and especially if you've got another job or you're doing something else, it's very easy to manage. Okay, 2 units without systems is suddenly going to be double guest messages, double cleaning coordination, double supplier calls, the logistics, just how it's becoming a lot more effort. And the result of this is most operators stall here, okay? The model's broken because if they feel like scaling, it's just going to be double and double and double the workload, okay? Every time you just put in an X on the extra amount of workload. Unit 1 is exciting. Unit 2 is where most operators quietly burn out, okay? Because with Unit 1, it's manageable. It's one property, one cleaner, one coordination that you need to do to make sure things like supplies, towels, and stuff are there, okay? Suddenly, with Unit 2, everything's doubled up. You've got double the guest messages. You've got double the cleaner coordination, inquiries about new bookings. Everything is building up and it's adding to the workload, and suddenly it doesn't just feel like a side hustle. With unit 1, it's manageable, one property, but with unit 2, everything's double, okay? And the result here is most operators are going to stall, okay? The model's broken, they feel like scaling is just adding extra and extra workload, and it's hard to justify, especially if you have a normal job. So scaling isn't doing more of the same thing, it's going to be doing things differently. So why do most operators stall at one unit? Here's exactly why, okay? Operational chaos, guest messages arrive at all hours, cleaning logistics break down between the units, coordination of supplier via text, there's no system, okay? Tracking the finances, making sure you get paid out, and the capital reinvestment trap. One unit's generating, 400 to £1,000 a month extra on top of if you're doing buy to let or if you're doing rent to rent or if you're doing management fee, depending on what you could earn. The temptation of just spending that money, okay, new phone, a weekend away is real, okay? The lifestyle creep eats into the profits. You're doing something, you're making money from somebody else's property and it feels great, but there's a lifestyle creep there that's eating into your profits, and the portfolio isn't compounding like you do because that money you're making for one unit should be going into the next unit. And because you've got one unit that's done all right, it's very easy to get egotistical about it and think, right, I know what I'm doing here. And you stop following roadmaps, you stop following scripts and stuff and think you know everything, okay? The landlord pitch is going to get harder, not easier, because there's more at stake. One property live creates the illusion of more to lose. The operator convinces themselves they need more preparation. They're wrong. The second pitch is easier, but only if you make it. So all these issues that stall you at one unit, easily solvable, okay? The operators who scale past 5 units solve all 3. So what I recommend to people is before you get your second unit, get one unit that's running without you, okay? Let's implement guest communication, okay? Every routine guest interaction is automated, pre-booking responses, booking confirmation, pre-arrival instructions, access code, mid-stay check-in, post-review request, okay? Get all these automated, and then suddenly you're not having people asking, how do I check in? How do I do this? How do I do that? Implement, one of the ways to do it is great, is have like a digital check-in guide that has the Wi-Fi password, that has everything in one place, and an AI concierge that they can talk to, okay? So that eliminates all the communication and all that sort of work that you'd have to do. All right, the second step that I want you to implement on your first unit is dynamic pricing, okay? So using price labs, your nightly rates are adjusted automatically based on the local demand, competitor pricing, events, lead time, seasonal patterns, okay? So this is gonna cost a bit of money to obviously implement, but it's relatively cheap, and the money you're gonna earn by doing this, the money you're leaving on the table right now, is going to easily cover that, okay? So you're suddenly not worrying about guest messages and you're not worrying about pricing. So the third one is obviously the cleaning team, okay? have a trusted cleaner team, have them connected on the channel manager so they know what the listing is and they can see the calendar and they can see when people are arriving and when they're checking out. So they know straight away what days they are working, what days they are cleaning. And that there eliminates you having to send messages all the time on a WhatsApp group or whatever saying, oh, you need to clean this property, you need to do that. So guest messages sorted, pricing sorted, cleaning coordination sorted. Okay, so the supplier accounts, things like linen, toiletries, maintenance. You can set reorder thresholds. You can have, like I do on Amazon, I have, when you do a subscribe on a product, so say like air fresheners, like little diffuser things, they're relatively cheap and they just make sure the apartments are always smelling nice. I just got them on a subscription, so they go to my cleaner's address um, bi-weekly, and they will then make sure they're putting the property, things like that, all automated, so you're not having to worry about things. And then obviously you're not getting complaints about like bad smell in that example. Okay, and then the financial tracking. So just you can set up a tool that tracks all the income and outgoings and just make sure that you're fully aware of what that property is earning per week without having to dive into it and like look at the numbers and do all your manual stuff. We have a great one of these in the host handbook where you just put in what your monthly rent is and you've already preset all your costs and stuff. And based off what the guest pays and what your costs are, it just tells you, and then it just keeps a nice log of it. Okay, so it's nice and easy. You're basically, the whole point of this is you're reducing your workload. Okay, and why are we reducing the workload? Because unit 2 is where the systems are going to pay you back. If unit 1 is running properly, unit 2 should take 60 to 70% less effort to get live. Okay, so with unit 1, you're doing the landlord pitch from scratch. Okay, you're building all the operations from zero, you're analyzing the deals and inputting all the details. Okay, and the cleaning team, you're finding them, you're briefing them, and you're trusting them for the first time. And it takes days to go live with that property. With unit 2, you already have a live property. Okay, the landlord pitch, you have a live property, you have a reviews, you have a track record, real results that you can point to with the landlord to say this is what we're able to achieve. Okay, the operations, it's going to be 80% of the same systems. If you've built everything out on uplisting and then you put your new property in, you've got the same team, same suppliers, same templates. Obviously with like check-ins and stuff, you just reword it, but you just duplicate their messages that were going out, and then you obviously have again automated messages, and you implement all the same systems that you did to unit 1 to unit 2. So it doesn't actually mean you're doubling up on the work effort. Okay, and a deal analyzer, you already know the numbers you can point to, especially if you get another unit that's like very similar to your first one that you've had success with. You can then base it off their numbers that you have, like actual data, not guesswork, and you can use that to justify the new deal. Okay, with the clean team, they're already trained, already trusted, just adding an extra property and implementing a new standing order to pay them. And then because you've got all these systems ready to go, the onboarding time is going to be less. So one of the things I recommend is most operators are scattering the units. Maybe they have them all over the place or in different places because they feel like, oh, I'm going to get into different markets. I recommend clustering your units. If you have one unit that's doing really well in one area and it's at really high occupancy level, if you add an extra unit to that area, at similar spec, similar size, whatever, that you are going to be able to benefit from all them bookings that can't book with you because you're fully booked. Okay, so clustering units is a great way to do this. I've got loads on the river in Manchester, the River Irwell, between Deansgate and Salford. And then because of that, I have the same cleaning team, same supplier base. I know the regulatory framework, I know the council tax and the rules and stuff. Okay, and because they're all doing well, I know that I can add more and more units into that area. Okay, so yes, you do eventually want to be able to expand and cater to UK wide. That's got to be the goal, right? But when you're first starting and getting them first 1 to 5 units, clustering them is a great way to reduce the workload and allow you to scale quicker. Again, I just want to highlight the fact that that money that you're getting from your first couple of units, that money that is there to get you third, fourth, fifth, okay, to reinvest in the business and grow the portfolio before you start enjoying what you've built with the holidays, a new car, whatever. Okay, so the maths is unit 1, you get your profit. Unit 2, you get your profit combined, okay? And then that there is used to expand the portfolio. Use that money to run meta ads. For an example, okay, you build your management company up, you've got these properties under management, you've got a lovely website, logo, etc. You then can integrate meta ads. The meta ads are then going to show, oh, look at these results I've demonstrated, target that area that you've demonstrated it in, show the property, show what you're earning, and then on Meta, target that to landlords, estate agents, CEOs, people that will have property, and that money that you're making from your first couple of units has been reinvested into outreach and lead generation, and that lead generation is going to lead to unit 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so don't just spunk all your money away, reinvest it into the business. So most operators are trying to do everything until unit 4 or 5, then they break. Okay, here's when to hire and when to get people into the business that are going to help support it and grow it. Okay, so unit 1 is solo, you do everything, you built the systems, you learn the process and make mistakes, and that's intentional. Okay, you understand every part of the operation beforehand before you try and offload it. Okay, with unit 2, the automation is handling the routine guest comms, the cleaning teams are integrated into the channel manager so they know when they're cleaning, and then the whole business is running routine with operations, okay, implemented. After unit 2, a VA can handle guest com escalations. So say, yeah, you got the AI chatting to the guest, it's giving all the tips and stuff, but say something needs escalated, there's an issue with check-in, the key's on in the key box, you then have a VA that can coordinate a response and handle all that. So you are completely cut out, okay? And then unit 3, you know, hire someone like a cleaning coordinator who just manages schedules, checks quality, goes to the properties, handles logistic linen, and the suppliers and restocking and stuff. So then you're just completely cut out. Okay, unit 5 is now where you're at a real business. Everything's been automated, coordinated, pricing dynamically, VA handling escalations, and a financial tracker tracking all the unit. Okay, with all this, you are completely cutting yourself out the day-to-day operations and the running of the business. This allows you to focus on securing more and more units that you can then put into this, and you've got your whole team, either whether it's your team like virtual assistants, which are real people, or AI assistants, and they're coordinating all the cleaners who are the people on the ground. Okay, I like to have my cleaners handle a lot of the maintenance issues. So say someone says, oh, the table light's broken or there's no bulb, you know, you just coordinate with them, have your VA know that when they raise these issues, that they just Amazon this stuff they need, new table light, new bulbs, whatever, to the cleaner's property. So when the cleaner goes next, they can sort it out. Okay, you're cutting yourself completely out of the business, and that's allowing you to focus on growth and getting them extra units. If you've got your first unit live, you're not at the end of anything, okay? You're at the start of something much bigger, okay? You're making that transition from side hustle into a real long-term business, okay? The operator with 5 units doesn't work 5 times harder than the one with 1, okay? They need to work smarter with systems, a team in place, and the discipline to know that that money can be reinvested into growth, okay? And by removing yourself from the day-to-day operations, you're allowing yourself to focus on that growth. Okay, so drop scale in the comments if you've already got your first Airbnb live and you're looking to get to unit 2, 3, 4, 5 and build a real long-term business. Okay, subscribe and hit the bell if you've learned something in this video, and leave a comment of what you want to know in the next video. Okay, I'm Sam, multi-entrepreneur with Airbnbs across the country, and if you want to join the free school community where I have really in-depth guides about individual aspects of this business, join the host handbook. The link will be in the bio.